Marjorie Taylor Greene is out with a new conspiracy theory about our elections. Republicans are not content with winning the presidency, the Senate, and the House, and being in control of the Supreme Court. They are now attacking our elections even when they win. I'm going to have that for you in just a moment. There hasn't been a conspiracy theory Marjorie Taylor Greene does not like. Here she is months ago, remember during North Carolina's disaster, saying that Democrats control the weather. Climate change is the new COVID, she tweeted. Ask your government if the weather is manipulated or controlled. Do you ever give permission to them to do it? Are you paying for it? Of course you are. That was so insane that President Biden actually had to talk about it in front of the nation to back up and say, hey, what are we doing here? But she's out with a new election conspiracy theory. I'm going to tell you that in just a moment because I think it's important to pay attention to what the far right is talking about. But also, Mike Johnson was out just today trying to ramp down some of Donald Trump's worst campaign promises. And keep in mind, Donald Trump is going to do all the shit that he talked about during his candidacy. We're already seeing that now. He promised that RFK Jr. was going to be the Health and Human Services Secretary. That is happening. So I'm going to show you this clip, but keep in mind, Mike Johnson is just he's saying this to keep the furor down. But here is Mike Johnson saying that he's not sure Donald Trump's going to deport 20 million people. And real quick, before we get into that video, if you could please like this video, it helps get this into the algorithm so more pro-democracy folks like yourself can see it. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It really does help the channel. Thanks so much.
Do you think that the American people are ready for, if all, whatever it is, 20 million undocumented immigrants are deported, do you think the American people are ready for not only the tremendous disruption in the workforce and the economy, I think it's like 5% of the workforce is undocumented, but also the fact that we're going to be seeing images of families separated, people taken out of the communities they've lived in for years. Do you think the American people are fully prepared for that?
I'm not sure that's what's going to happen, Jake. I think what the president's talking about is beginning with the dangerous persons that we know are here. There are criminals, known criminals. There are known terrorists in the country. There are some who have been apprehended for committing violent crimes after they come across the border illegally. So you start with that number. You got, by some counts, as many as 3 or 4 million people that fit that category. Begin there and then see how it transpires.
And then also Mike Johnson tried to walk back Donald Trump's tariff idea, which would be a tax of more than 20%, some are saying, on Americans. Here's that.
Another top priority for the incoming Trump administration, and across the board 10% tariff on all imports and even larger tariffs on all imports from China. Some experts say that President-elect Trump could enact the China tariffs on his own, but might need legislation for the new universal tariff. Are you going to bring that to the floor of the Congress in the first 100 days, a new 10% across the board tariff on all imports?
Well, just like with immigration policy, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. The president and I have talked about this as recently as yesterday, the use of tariffs in the economy and how that might be done. It will be a balancing act, as it always is, but he has some ideas, aggressive ideas, to grow this economy again and to reduce the cost of living. And there are a number of factors that will go into that. I mean, we have lots of legislation already planned, and he has action from the White House already planned to bring down the cost of living. How? By, well, incentivizing American companies to invest here again and to grow jobs, create more jobs for more people.
Okay, so Mike Johnson is lying to you. He's lying to you. He knows that Donald Trump wants to do all that stuff. 100%. Donald Trump, though, is an insane person who is potentially sometimes easy to laugh at. The things that he says and wants to do are deadly serious. He 100% intends to deport as many as 20 million people. He campaigned on it. He quite often does the things that he campaigned on. Remember the Muslim ban? That happened the moment he got into power, and it was total chaos. And I expect something very similar. Mike Johnson just wants people to remain calm until they take action. I guarantee it. And how is Donald Trump going to get all those insane people who are cabinet picks across the threshold, across the finish line? Well, Rick Scott kind of let out the full game here, because Mitch McConnell said, who, by the way, has no power anymore except for a vote, he's no longer the majority leader, says there will be no recess appointments. And recess appointments is a constitutional process in which you do not need the Senate to confirm folks to be in the cabinet. Rick Scott said, yes, there will be recess appointments. So that is how RFK Jr., that is how Tulsi Gabbard, who is more likely than not a Russian stooge, and that is how Matt Gaetz, who has no business being anywhere near the top of law enforcement, get into these cabinet positions, and that is how Donald Trump has a fascist takeover over many parts of the executive branch of our government. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, in other news, was out just yesterday saying that the Democrats are stealing a House seat right from under us in California. We barely control the House, and we'll have a one-seat majority in January. Well, that's because Donald Trump keeps taking all of the people from the House and putting them into cabinet positions, because the only people that he feels like can actually do the job of being a buffoon who only will be subservient to him and not the Constitution are people from MAGA who are far-right extremists in the House. That aside, the House is going to have a one-seat majority in January, and when Trump takes office, we will fill those 3 seats through special elections. We have to stop election rigging. This is a continuing battle. What Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't understand is that, yes, we are, God, what is that, 40-ish votes ahead of Michelle Steele in Orange County in California. We're just counting the votes, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I think this is just like this is the virus and the disease of misinformation and election denialism, that when they even win, they can't take the win. And so I think we have to be steadfast around this sort of stuff, because imagine if Donald Trump lost. It would be complete chaos right now. What she's talking about with this kind of no-name congressional race would be what we were talking about throughout the whole country. And so this is disease, it's pervasive, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is a nut. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, you can let me know by leaving a blue heart in the comments below. Leave a like on the video so this gets pushed up so more people see it. And I'm out with a new post in my newsletter called No Lies Detected. You can get to it at keithedwards.substack.com. I will leave a link to it in the comments below as well. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much.